The town wasn't much to look at, only the castle ruins on the outskirts. However, the information they received said Tsunade had been spotted going between the bar and casino multiple times over the last few days. Jiraiya hoped she was still around as night began to fall over the town. What type of person was Lady Tsunade? Naruto asked. She was as fierce as your mother, though she had much more restraint. But she was just as kind, perhaps a little too kind, which caused her heart to be broken so often. She revolutionized the medical ninjutsu and the medical system of the 5 great nations. And lastly, she was a gambler and a drinker. I doubt that's changed. I thought the shinobi code banned drinking and gambling, Haku said, remembering Zabuza's words from years ago. Gambling, yes. However, very few shinobi follow the no drinking. So long as it's not done on missions, most don't see a problem, Jiraiya answered. But Tsunade is worse than that, I'll admit. Hopefully she isn't drunk when we find her. The town was silent during the night, except for the single bar near the center. Jiraiya hesitated at the door, but entered. Naruto and Haku followed. As expected, the place reeked of old booze. Not many were drinking at the moment, so those who were stood out. Naruto couldn't help but cover his nose in disgust. Not even Tazuna was this bad. It was easy to follow the stench to its strongest point. Near the corner of the building were 2 women, one clearly drunk. The other was at her side, worry on her face. She had short black hair and a matching kimono. The drunk woman was the person they'd been searching for. Her dull blonde hair was parted down the middle into bangs and a pair of loose ponytails. Her hazel eyes were clouded thanks to how much she'd been drinking. She wore a gray, kimono-like blouse that revealed her large chest. Over that was an open green haori. The last thing Naruto noticed was a purple diamond mark on her forehead. Hello, Tsunade, Jiraiya said solemnly. The woman's head slowly rose, her eyes dull. Why are you here? To see an old friend, Jiraiya responded, sitting across from her. Allow me to introduce my 2 students, Haku, last of the Yuki clan, and Naruto Uzumaki. You could also call him Namikaze. Naruto glared at Jiraiya for a second before bowing to Tsunade. Pervy Sage says you and my mother used to be friends. You mean Kushina? Tsunade hiccuped. I knew her, so what? If she or Minato were here, I might consider talking to you, Jiraiya. Both my parents are dead, Naruto replied firmly. They saved me from the Nine Tails, then made me its Jinchuriki. Tsunade appeared to sober up for a few moments, her gaze scanning Naruto top to bottom as they sat down. How did the demon escape? When she was giving birth to me, that's all we know, Naruto answered. Tsunade downed another glass. Sorry to hear that, kid. Those 2 were good people. I take it the old man took that damned hat back? For a time, but the Chunin exams were just held and Orochimaru attacked the Leaf. He killed Sarutobi-sensei, Jiraiya said firmly. Tsunade's hand stopped halfway to her mouth, the cup of booze falling onto the table. Everyone was silent. Naruto clenching his hands underneath the table. Tsunade's eyes wavered, but quickly turned hazy once more. That fool. That's just the booze talking, Jiraiya frowned, trying to assure Tsunade, but mostly himself. Shut up, you know it's not. That hat, that chair, that title, Tsunade chuckled. All of it is cursed. Even thinking about becoming Hokage will get you killed. What problem do you have with the Hokage? Naruto asked, feeling his anger begin to rise. It's a fool's errand. You either die trying to become it, or you die after you do. Haku blinked. Is that how you lost your brother and lover? The people around them felt the air thicken, the table splitting in half from Tsunade's burst of chakra. Naruto tensed, unable to move. He'd encountered strong chakra before, but this was the first time he found himself unable to move against it. It took him a moment to realize why. In the land of waves and the forest of death, Zabuza and Orochimaru fused their chakra with ki, which the fox somehow made him largely immune to. Tsunade's had no ki, but he knew Tsunade was feeling something worse. Sadness and grief. Don't you dare bring them up, Tsunade seized. Get to the point, Jiraiya, before I decide to punch you. Jiraiya sighed. Here isn't named me acting Hokage for the time being. However, he was hoping you would take the hat and come back to the village. You're the only reliable candidate. Tsunade reined in her chakra, glaring at her old teammate. You expect me to take the damned hat? There's no way in hell I'd do that. If you don't, Danzo will likely become Hokage, Jiraiya countered. I couldn't care less what happened to the leaf now. I left, remember? Jiraiya frowned. I don't believe that. You left out of grief, I understand that. But the war has been over for more than 2 decades. I'm sure both Don and Nawaki would want you to become Hokage. I told you not to say those names, Tsunade growled. I'm not gonna become Hokage, so leave me be. That's it? Naruto asked abruptly. You're a Sannin, and Lord Third is dead, and yet you're acting like none of it matters. That's enough, Naruto, Jiraiya demanded. Tsunade has always been difficult, but less so when she's drunk. If we can't convince her now, we won't be able to once she's sober. You want to give up, Pervy Sage? Fine. I'll just have to make your partner go by force. Tsunade broke into laughter. You, a child? You may be a Chunin and you might be Kushina and Minato's son, but there's no way you could force me to go back. I fought against Orochimaru and come out unscathed, Naruto growled. But you also got your Yuki friend infected by that snake's chakra, Tsunade retorted. I would recognize that chakra coming from her neck anywhere. Naruto snarled. Fine, I may have lost to him, but I still defeated the One-Tails only a week ago. Tsunade eyed Naruto once more. He wasn't lying. Even she would have trouble battling a tailed beast, even though she was a Sannin. At the same time, the booze kept her from thinking properly. She stood up, stumbling out of the building. I don't care if you defeated some tailed beast, you won't beat me. Not in a million years. Naruto seized, bolting out of his seat. You're just gonna walk away? Yes, I am, Tsunade called back. Shizune, we're leaving. The woman accompanying Tsunade ran to catch up with her. Naruto watched their backs, feeling his chakra rise along with his frustration. Even if I can't defeat you, I'm not gonna let you disgrace the Hokage title without a fight. At this point, Naruto didn't notice the other people around him, or even Haku and Jiraiya. All of his attention was focused on the female Sannin. Tsunade glared at the boy. You've got guts if nothing else. Tell you what, if you manage to land a hit on me, I'll consider coming back to the Leaf with you. Tsunade walked out into the street, Shizune trying to get her attention. Naruto quickly followed, staring her down as the Sannin stopped in the middle of the street. How about a little wager to go along with our fight? If I win, you'll give me all the money you got. And if you somehow win, I'll give you this necklace. Tsunade pulled a green crystal from between her breasts. It shone in the darkness, as if it held immense power. Are you sure, Lady Tsunade? Shizune stuttered. You know what happens to every person who puts that necklace on besides you? Naruto raised an eyebrow, him and Haku turning to face Jiraiya. The sage sighed. That necklace was given to Tsunade by the first Hokage. Even I don't know what it is or how he found it. But she gifted that necklace to both Naoki and Dawn, and both were killed during the last war, shortly after receiving it. Since then, it's been rumored that anyone wearing that necklace will meet a most gruesome end. Even Tsunade started to believe it. She's only wagering it because she's drunk and because she doesn't see you as a threat. Naruto smirked. Well, she better stop underestimating me. Jiraiya folded his arms. Kid, you don't stand a chance against her. I know you realize that. It doesn't matter, Naruto shook his head. She disrespected Lord Third, my father, and the Hokage. I can't let that slide. How about you stop talking up a big game and attack me, little Namikaze? Tsunade taunted, raising her hand. All I'll need to win this fight is one hand. Naruto frowned, slipping into his fighting stance. I don't use my father's name, not yet. No one in the village knows I'm his son, he declared, confusing Tsunade. I prefer my mother's name, but that doesn't mean I'm not as strong as my dad. Tsunade's eyes shifted as Naruto dashed towards her. The moment he threw a punch, this fight would be over. But as she blinked, Naruto vanished from view. Her eyes darted up in surprise. Naruto was above her, traces of wind chakra coming from his feet. The boy used soul speed once more, landing a kick against Tsunade's raised arm. She was as fast as he expected. Despite his earlier statements, he knew he had no chance of winning without an immense amount of luck. All he could do was attempt to impress the slug princess. The blonde dashed around the Sannin, Tsunade's drunken state making her unable to properly track him. But every time he went for an attack, Tsunade always seemed to block. She kept trying to land the one punch she claimed would end the fight, but her current state once again allowed Naruto to narrowly avoid defeat. Jiraiya was impressed. Even when drunk, Tsunade could hold her own. The fact Naruto was as fast as he was proved he was Minato's son. This is getting annoying, brat, Tsunade shouted, aiming her fist at the ground as Naruto did another dash at her. Her fist struck the earth, creating a large crater as well as a shockwave of chakra. The wave disrupted Naruto's soul speed jutsu, much to his surprise. It had never been interrupted before. He kept his speed, tumbling towards Tsunade, whose fist was now reared back to finally land a punch. Naruto barely pulled off a single hand sign Haku showed him. A small shield of ice burst from his fingertips, Tsunade's punch shattering it and making Naruto fly back. What the hell, Yuki? This is our fight, not yours, the Sannin shouted. That was Naruto, not me, Haku replied firmly, running over to help Naruto to his feet. I told you that technique was to be used sparingly. Jiraiya and Shizune saw why before Tsunade did. Naruto's hand was coated in frost. The technique he used was something Haku swiftly created after their encounter with the Akatsuki. Zabuza had always praised her for her quick hand signs. But against them, she wasn't fast enough. She and Naruto had been powerless, only escaping because they were holding back. So she made a quick defensive jutsu to protect against attacks. Naruto had used it, using chakra to pull the blood and sweat from his hand and form it into ice. Haku was able to perform the technique without drawbacks, but Naruto was always left with numbing cold in his hands, likely due to his inexperience with ice style compared to Haku. He would overcome it eventually, but Haku insisted he be careful until then. Since when could someone who wasn't from the Yuki clan use their Kekkei Genkai, Tsunade snapped, not sure how else to respond. Naruto shakily rose to his feet. I can use all 5 chakra natures. and combine them into Keke Genkai elements. To be honest, I want you to come back for 2 other reasons besides becoming Hokage. I want your help to find out why I'm like this. The second reason is because I have a friend whose only chance of being a shinobi again depends on your medical abilities. Tsunade growled. Although she was a medical scholar who always took the chance to learn about the human body and chakra system, it would take more than that to convince her. Still, Naruto was better than she expected, enough to make her use medical ninjutsu to sober herself up. You have no chance of defeating me, kid, even if you are strong for your age. Although your abilities and friend intrigue me, I'm still not going back to the Leaf. Too bad, because I'm not stopping until you do, Naruto smirked. The last person to beat me in a fight was Minato. Even though you're his son, you're not at that level yet. Naruto's eyes narrowed. If you don't believe in the Hokage, don't ever say my dad's name again. Tsunade frowned. The blonde grew more annoying by the second. From the looks on Haku and Jiraiya's face, what Naruto said was true. She sighed, muttering curses. Lady Tsunade, perhaps we should listen to Lord Jiraiya, Shizune suggested. You've been gone for many years. The least you could do is hear them out. There is nothing to discuss. I'm not going back. You're a coward, Naruto snarled, Tsunade glaring back with rage. You're afraid of failing again, aren't you? Tsunade turned away from the blonde. You know nothing, boy. I know what it's like to lose people. Tsunade froze, her fists turning white. But you, a Sannin, one of the strongest shinobi in the world, refused to become better. Tsunade could feel the venom in the boy's voice. At the same time, there was desperation, as if Naruto wanted to be proven wrong. Tsunade cursed under her breath, unable to look at him. Without a word, she stormed off. Shizune attempted to catch up to her. Hey, don't ignore me, Naruto shouted, forming chakra in his feet when Jiraiya stopped him. That's enough for now. I'll talk to her. Starting tomorrow, I want you to focus solely on the Rasengan training. Haku blinked. I assume you have a plan? The sage nodded, running after his old teammates. An hour later, the 2 Sannin were at an outdoor bar. Tsunade was drunk, again. Jiraiya had never taken his eyes off her. Can you just get to the point, pervy sage? Tsunade muttered. I assume you have some plan to try and convince me. Just get it over with. Jiraiya sighed, putting down his glass. I came to make another bet. If Naruto can master the Rasengan in a week, you have to come back. Tsunade almost spat out her booze. Are you trying to lose? There's no way the kid could learn that technique, even if he is his son. It took Minato years to develop the Rasengan. Jiraiya smirked. He's already learned the first step. He's a lot smarter than you think. There's a reason he became a Chunin. Tsunade frowned, calling the bartender for another bottle. Who's this friend of his he said is injured? Rock Lee, Mike Guy's student. He can't mold chakra, making him a taijutsu-only ninja. His leg and arm were injured by the One-Tail's Jinchuriki. He can move, but without your level of medical ninjutsu, he has no chance of regaining the ability to fight, no matter how hard he tries. Tsunade's mind instantly began searching for possible solutions, but stopped herself. She wasn't going to go back just because a kid was hurt. What's the brat like when he's not being a shinobi? Tsunade asked. The sage shrugged. Haku would know better than me. Since she came to live in the Leaf, the two have been inseparable from what I've heard. What's her story? I thought the Mizukage had all Keke Genkai users killed, including the Yuki. Jiraiya chuckled. I'm not clear on the details either. She says she was found by Zabuza Momochi and became his tool. During a mission, she met Naruto and his team. One thing led to another, and Naruto convinced Zabuza to let Haku live in the leaf for a while. In exchange, Naruto was going to help fight the Mizukage. This time, Tsunade couldn't hold in her booze, coughing violently as Jiraiya laughed at her side. Does that kid have a death wish? Not only does he go up against an S-rank rogue, but now the leader of a hidden village? Jiraiya chuckled. It gets worse. The Mizukage is the three-toes Jinchuriki. The sage couldn't help but laugh more at Tsunade's expression. Don't worry, Naruto has no plans on dying. I intend to train him so he's as strong as possible before that happens. Besides, he's managed to defeat the One-Tails, and survive a skirmish with Orochimaru. He has the potential to be stronger than both of us. Tsunade stared blankly, unsure what else to say. No wonder Naruto was so intent on fighting her. He was reckless, but somehow had the skills to keep himself alive even if he couldn't win. He was a dangerous blend of his parents. His luck will run out. It always does, Tsunade muttered. Maybe, Jiraiya sighed, but that won't stop him from helping people. He's not certain yet, but if it means he can help more people, he'll become Hokage too. If you don't fulfill Dawn and Nawaki's dreams, he will, whether he knows it or not. Tsunade muttered curses under her breath as Jiraiya stood, paying for both his booze and Tsunade's, making sure to leave a little extra. Tsunade forced a smile from forming, taking one last drink before storming off to the casino once more. She needed to take her mind off Naruto. As she walked off, she felt a sharp pain in her leg, the rest of her body freezing. All she could do was move her eyes. Good evening, Tsunade Senju. Why are you here? Tsunade hissed, the man who poisoned her coming out of the shadows. I'm here to see if Lord Orochimaru's offer is still on the table. He saw you with the Toad Sage and the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Tsunade growled. You can tell your master to go to hell. The man chuckled. Very well, your deadline still exists. By the end of the week, if you accept the offer, meet my master at the castle ruins. And if you tell anyone we met, the offer is off immediately. The man faded back into the shadows, Tsunade feeling her body return to her control. The man was gone, leaving her to silently spout curses, unsure what to do. If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai, disappearing in a golden flash.